Ooh, this woman is studying for the CELPIP exam, and she's studying for writing task 2, which is responding to a survey. And she's using my book to help her prepare for the exam. Wow, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you to everyone who's bought my books, my CELPIP speaking book, and now my CELPIP writing book to help them prepare for the exam. I think these books will really help you, and a lot of people have let me know that the speaking book has really helped them. So I hope my new writing practice book will be just as helpful for you. Hey, if you want to get a copy of my books, you can just go to my website, metv.cool, and download PDFs of my book. Okay, so let's take a look at an example from my book. Okay, this is a survey question. All right, your apartment building is getting old, and the owners of the building are planning to do some renovations this summer. They have decided to conduct a survey to see what the tenants would like to have improved this year. Which option would you prefer? Option A, new paint and carpets, or option B, a new elevator? What's your choice going to be? Well, you can think about it for a little bit and then just pick your answer. Just pick whatever the easiest thing is or whichever preference you have. It doesn't really matter. On these writing things, I think it's about the same difficulty no matter what you pick. Okay, maybe some idea will come into your head for one of these. Okay, so how should you start? Should you start the same way as in task 1? No, because in task 1, we're talking to a person, right? You're going to start by saying like, "Dear Mr. Smith," or "To whom it may concern." Okay, but for this one, there are no greetings because most surveys are anonymous. Anonymous means your name is not required. Okay, your identity is hidden. Okay, so you're not going to put your name at the end. You're not going to say "Regards, Mark," or "Sincerely, Jill." Okay, so this is actually a little bit easier. Okay, so in my book, I teach you a 12-sentence model. Now, I made this model to help you understand how to structure your answer. Okay, it has 4 paragraphs and 12 sentences. Now, you don't need to follow this exactly, but I think it will really help. Now, in task 1, I have a 12-sentence model, and for task 2, it's the same model, but it's just a little bit different. Okay, I explain that in my book. Okay, so what should be in the first paragraph? Well, the first paragraph should have 2 things. You should state your choice. Okay, what is your preference? Then you should acknowledge some advantages of the other side. Now, in my book, I teach you how to use an even though sentence. Even though blah, 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 I think this would be better because blah, blah, blah. Also in my speaking book, I taught you how to handle objections or how to handle the good points from the other side of the argument. I think if you do this on this question, you're going to get a really high mark. You're going to see in my book, all my answers follow this model. So I think it's really good. Now, the second paragraph is going to be your first point. Okay, then you're just going to maybe say another thing, whatever you would like to say, some more thoughts, and then give an example. Okay, so it's very easy. Each one of these is only 1 sentence. You can add, 1 or 2 sentences, that's okay. But remember, if your answer is under 10 sentences, it's probably going to be hard to get 150 words. And if your answer is more than like 14 or 15 sentences, you're probably going over 200 words. Okay, so your sentences should be, anywhere from 10 words to 20 words. It's good to have some short sentences. It's good to have some medium and some long sentences. Okay, that's called sentence variety. Okay, so the third paragraph is exactly like the second paragraph. Okay, you're going to make another point and then just say some more thoughts and give an example. And then the fourth paragraph is going to be your conclusion paragraph. Okay, so the first sentence is just going to summarize the situation, and then you're going to say some positive sentence. You'll see an example of this in a few minutes here. Okay, then you just offer support. Again, I'll show you an example of how to do this. I think in most of the questions in my book, I give you examples of how exactly to do. I almost follow the same thing in every answer in my book for this task, for task 2. Okay, so I think if you get my book and you look at how I answer the questions, at the end of the book, you'll be able to just write an answer and fit it into that template. A lot of people, they're not really worried about English writing. They just want to pass the test. Okay, so I know that. So in my book, I try to give you a template to follow so you can just get a good mark. I think you're going to get a great mark if you follow the tips in my book. Okay, so you just need a good mark, and then you won't want to forget about English writing, right? A lot of people do. Really, you should improve your English writing, right? Especially if you're going to live in Canada or an English-speaking country, and you're going to be doing some writing maybe for your work. Yeah, you should learn how to improve your writing. But sometimes we just like to cheat a little bit. Not cheat, but just want to pass the test and get it over with. I know that. I'm trying to help you. That's why I've written these books. Okay, so in your closing, you're just going to have a closing sentence. Okay, I'll show you how to do this. We're not going to have like regards, Mark. There's nothing here, just a closing sentence. Okay, so let's take a look at my answer here. Okay, here's the first paragraph. Personally, I think a new elevator would be a better choice. Okay, that's my first sentence. I stated my choice, right? Then look at this. Even though the building does need a new paint job, the elevator would offer more practical benefits to the tenants. Okay, there's my even though question. I'm acknowledging the something, right? Even though the building does need a new paint job, yeah, I think the elevator would give us more benefits, right? Then here's the first paragraph. The first problem with the current elevator is that it is extremely slow. Sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes to arrive after pushing the button. A lot of people in the building have started using the stairs because they're so fed up with the elevator. Have you ever had any experience with old elevators? I have. Sometimes old elevators are a little bit scary. You don't know if you're going to die. Okay, so here's the third paragraph, which contains the second point, right? The second problem is safety. Sometimes the elevator does strange things. For example, yesterday it suddenly stopped moving. Then it dropped a few feet. It was a very frightening experience. Okay, it dropped a few feet. That would be really scary, right? Imagine if it dropped like 5 meters. That would be so scary. Okay, so look at this. Now, can you see a pattern here? Look at the last paragraph. See the first sentence I have here? The first problem with the current elevator is that it's extremely slow. Okay, that's my first point. Look at the second point. The second problem is safety. Okay, so the first sentence in each paragraph, I've said the point. Okay, now what's my second sentence in this paragraph? Sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes to arrive after pushing the button. Okay, there I'm just saying another thought, any more information or anything else that I want to say. Remember, first thing is to say what your point is, your first point, and then to give more information, whatever information you want to have. So that's my more information. Now let's look at this paragraph. What did I say? Sometimes the elevator does strange things. Okay, here's my point. There's more thoughts. And then here's the example. For example, yesterday it suddenly stopped moving and then it dropped. Okay, so this is, I hope you're paying attention to the model. Okay, the model in these paragraphs, right? Point, more thoughts, example. Point, more thoughts, example. Okay, it's very easy. Okay, now let's take a look at the conclusion. Okay, considering these reasons, I believe an elevator would be a better choice. Everyone in the building would be overjoyed. Again, this is my personal opinion, but I will support whatever decision is made. Okay, so what's this sentence? This is my summary sentence. This is sort of my conclusion sentence. Then a positive sentence. Everyone in the building would be overjoyed. And then here I offer support, right? Again, this is my personal opinion, but I will support whatever decision is made. You'll see in my book, almost every single one of my answers in task 2 ends this way. Okay? I just want to give you a good answer that you can use that will give you a high mark on the test. I think if you give an answer like this, you're going to get a very high mark, okay? Now this is just the conclusion sentence. So thank you for giving me a chance to provide input on this issue. Okay? Doesn't matter what the situation is, I think you can use this sentence. Thank you for giving me a chance to provide input on this issue. Whatever the issue is. Okay, so there are my 4 paragraphs and a conclusion, sort of one last final sentence. And that's it. Okay. Hey, I want to know, which is harder for you, task 1 or task 2? Have you been studying for the writing part for a few days? Which one do you think is easier? The nice thing about task 1 is it gives you a little bit of an outline. It gives you 3 points, right? Talk about this, discuss this, explain this. Oh, then you know, okay, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, the easy thing about this one, task 2, is that you don't have to start by saying like, "Dear Mr. Smith." Sometimes people have a hard time. They don't know, how should I address the police or the government? They don't know how to do that. And then the ending. So if we take away those 2 pieces, maybe it's a little bit easier. But I want to know, which one do you find easier? Let me know down there in the comments. Down there in the comment section, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.